We are live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Police Off the Cuff After Hours. My name is Mark DeMeo. I'm here with my co-host, my partner in all things law enforcement, the very handsome Bill Cannon, folks. What's up, Bill?
I'm excited about this, man. Carlo is living my dream, man. I want to move down to Florida someday, and he can even answer some of our questions. But he's still on the job.
Yeah, right. Let's introduce our guest. We have a great guest tonight. I can already tell we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. He's a retired NYPD detective. Well, first of all, I should have started this thing by saying he's a Marine.
Hoorah!
Hoorah! That's right.
And then he's also a retired NYPD detective. He moved down to Florida. Once he retired, and he became a cop in the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. Now he's a detective with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department doing violent crimes, investigating violent crimes. And he's also a second degree. Yeah, I don't know if he's still a second degree. You got to up your shit, man. We had a third degree jiu-jitsu guy on last week. A second degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. I know it's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, right? 18 years you've been doing it. Yeah. What's up, folks? Let's give a warm round of applause to our guest tonight, Carlo Fargnoli. Fargnoli. Close, man. I was going to add another EO on it. Fargnolio.
Hey, Carlo, do you know someone named Takedown 21-2000?
You know what? I'd have to see his face. I don't even know him.
He said the man, the myth, the legend.
He's shouting out to you, yeah.
Let me ask you, where are you? You're in the police museum over there in Fort Lauderdale?
This is my special room. I've had major wars over this room with my wife. I say, this is my room. This is my little shrine in here. I love it.
It looks like you're in a police museum.
I love it. I got everything.
It looks beautiful. Tell us a little bit about what kind of stuff you got behind you.
Okay. I got my 9/11 helmet that I wore at 9/11. It still has residue on it. I never cleaned it. This is my original helmet that I had when I was in the Marine Corps, which is a funny story with that. I used to carry it on patrol. I'll tell you about that. Then I have my Marine Corps.
Wait, Bill, he's pointing out the pictures.
I know. I'm just showing he was at 9/11, Mark.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I wore that every day down there. I got my Marine Corps helmet that I wore. I just put in the back seat of the RMP on patrol. I got a story with that too. That's my Marine Corps dress blue uniform. Right there, it looks like a baseball cap. That's my when I was in camis, I would wear that, and they would break my balls so much because it was faded, and I just kept wearing it, so I had to keep it. On the other side, I got my hat when I was on patrol when I first got actually from the police academy. I got my hat from when I became a detective. I got the old statue with the officer with the little child.
That's in 1PP. When you walk into 1PP, that's the statue that's there.
I love that.
That's a great statue.
For anybody who's not from New York City, if you ever visited One Police Plaza, as soon as you walk in through the front door of One Police Plaza, it's a giant statue, and it's of a police officer, and he's got his arm around a little boy, right?
Yeah.
Right Takedown 21-2000. Thank you so much for the $24.99 super chat. You're keeping us in business, bro. Thank you so much.
There you go. Yeah, I got my arm piece from Fort Lauderdale and the NYPD, my Kbar knife from the Marine Corps, everything.
The what did you say? The what knife?
I got my knife when I was in the Marine Corps. It's a Kbar knife.
Is that the long one with the it looks like almost like Crocodile Dundee's knife?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's a nice knife.
Yeah, what do they use that when they train you with that knife? It's to cut down like when you're going through bush and stuff like that.
Well, it depends. You can use it to open up beer bottles. Or I guess if you had to kill somebody, like Mattis says, cut cheesecake or cut throats.
So you're actually in Florida right now. You're in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. I live in West Palm. Right now I'm in Royal Palm, but I'm working for Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
So you did 20 years on the NYPD?
Yeah.
And then you went down to Fort Lauderdale.
You came down here.
And then did you have to take the police test over there and everything and go through the academy again?
Yeah. I didn't have to go to the academy. They have this thing called the crossover, where you take like a really super condensed course. and you take the same test that the recruits take after 6 months. And if you pass that test, you become state certified, and then you're called sworn, and then you can work as a police officer.
And the job over there, as far as the health benefits and what we call our 401k 457, and are you still indemnified?
Yeah. I'll tell you something, and Fort Lauderdale, I tell guys all the time who are still up in New York, and I'm not just saying that because people are watching. I'm telling you the truth. Fort Lauderdale is an amazing police department. It really, really is. The pay is good. The people are great, and the pay is great. Let me say that it's great. Definitely better than the NYPD. The bosses are good. There's every reason to come down here. So yeah, no, this is a good police department.
And it's busy, right? It's not like you're going there to. It's not like you're going to East Cupcake, right?
No, you're not going to East Cupcake. There's good areas, like every other place you work.
Carlo, someone told me that you were on the Fang task force. Is that true?
Well, let me tell you something. I'm a little upset because they were supposed to issue me my Fort Lauderdale Speedo, but I never got it. But that's my beef with the upper echelon.
Is there a unit there where you could work on the beach in your Speedo?
In my Speedo? No. They probably call me for indecent exposure.
No, well, anyway, seriously though, is there like a unit that you can go to and work at the beach and be in like those trunks? Like what was that? What was the show with the lifeguards? What was that? Pam Anderson.
Oh, Baywatch.
Yeah. Like a Baywatch. Where did they even shoot that? Didn't they shoot that in Florida?
No, that was
California?
Yeah, it was like San Diego or something. Yeah.
You have guys assigned to the beach where they handle calls predominantly on the beach. No, it's got its perks.
What are some of the problems that you have on or near the beach?
Well, it depends. Especially with spring break, you got a lot of these young people that come down here, and sometimes they get a little out of control. But for the most part, they're good. They got down there with the horses and the big police presence. So
you brought up spring break. Miami got hit hard, and Fort Lauderdale was saved a little bit. Why was Miami? I guess was just the popular destination in this year because I know it flip flops.
No, but Carlo, didn't Fort Lauderdale discourage spring breakers from coming? That used to be the place years ago.
Oh no, it was. No. They never discourage anyone from coming down to have a good time. They really don't. They're really they're really good. I think what happened with Miami, I think they just got overwhelmed. I know, like any other city, you're going to have your issues. You know what I mean? I know that Miami last year or the year before, they expected problem. They set up checkpoints, and a lot of the crowd came up to Fort Lauderdale. But Fort Lauderdale handles it really well. They got the horses out there. They got a large police contingent. They're pretty good at handling this kind of stuff.
I went to spring break in Fort Lauderdale, 1986. And I remember I could tell you so many moments of that time going down there as a kid.
Yeah. Did you go to the elbow room?
Going between the Yankee Trader and the Yankee Clipper. I was staying at the Trader, and everybody was staying at the Clipper.
I stayed at the Clipper when I came down here. I took vacation when I was up there. So I came down here to start the process, and I stayed at the Yankee Clipper. It's funny you say that.
Some kids were jumping off the Yankee Clipper. It's got 2 stories to it.
Yeah.
And on the second story, if you get up on top of the railing there, you can jump into the pool. And some kids were doing that.
They're crazy. They're nuts.
And when I went back there, when I told you, my mother lives in Fort Lauderdale. So I went to go see her, and I didn't know where to stay over there. So I just... Because I always remember spring break that I guess the Clipper was sold out, so we stayed at the Trader.
Okay.
We found ourselves every morning just grabbing our stuff and going over to the Clipper because I was from Astoria. So everybody from Astoria was at the Clipper, so we would just spend the day at the Clipper. So I just stayed there, but it's a different name now. But you could still jump off the railing and get into the pool. No, actually they raised it up. They raised it up so you can't do that anymore.
I know in the Yankee Clipper, they had, if you go to the bar, if you jump in a pool, you could see
I know that.
people swimming behind the bar like mermaids.
No, I was in that pool, and I was making out with a girl and grab.
That was no girl.
And my friends, we were all at the bar, and I took the one, and we went up to go to the pool, and now we're in the pool, and they're watching us from the thing. They knew exactly what we were doing.
No, good, great times, man. Great.
Hey, give it up for Frank Burns. Frank Burns threw in $20 into the super chat. Thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you so much. He's an old street crime. He owns the night, and he has those challenge points for you.
I get goosebumps when you say that. We always
own the night, right?
Well, yeah, we always will.
That's a great. You know, the other one was from the late Captain Terrence Tunnock. Don't ever forget, we are the police. Remember, he used to say that.
Give me goosebumps again. Yeah, you're 100% right. We are
the police. He used to say that all the time, that's so true. And in these days when police are disparaged all over this country, we want to on this show encourage them to be the police and be proud of who they are. You know.
Well, I mentioned something that about the indemnified. You know what happened here in New York City. I'm sure you're aware of it. Is you know, these cops are they could be
qualified immunity. They voted to take that away from the police.
Yeah, they could be sued personally right now. We used to be indemnified up to $1 million.
You're watching. Sadly enough, you're watching New York City. We all know what it was like when we had 3,000 homicides here. I grew up in a city. We all know what it was like. And now we went to go to almost 3,000 homicides down to 300 is not humanly possible, but the NYPD did it. And now they're going back. And what's even more scary for guys that are up there now, you got to figure, now they have this one thing, this diaphragm thing, where if I got to wrestle with you, and if I can't do anything to control you, then I'm going to lay on you waiting for help to come and help me. So I've just committed a misdemeanor because that's no longer allowed by law. So I arrest you, but I've committed a misdemeanor myself. And now you're going to sue me, and the job is going to say, well, he's not supposed to do that. So you can't win.
You know what's funny that you bring that up is that you're talking about training from the academy. So basically what you're saying is that in New York City, as far as the academy's training, you can't put your knee on somebody's diaphragm. But in the trial right now, and Bill shared this clip with me, I'm pretty sure, I got it from you. In the trial right now, Chauvin, George Floyd trial, there's actually a picture from the police academy showing that knee on the neck. It's in the freaking their Bible. Yeah. That is a training thing. So I want to like when you're in court right now, and that's going to be the argument. You know what I'm saying? He had his knee on his neck, and that you shouldn't do that, whatever. And then they're going to show you the picture from the police academy. This is the way he was trained, and it's in the manual.
Yeah, I think what happens if you look at the whole Rodney King incident, right? You see when Rodney King was on the ground, and before he had punched one of the cops, they didn't show that. But as Rodney King was on the ground and the cops were moving around him. Mm-hmm. From what I understand, from what I learned, the NYPD called that swarming. It was a technique, until they were subdued. This is what they did. But I think when it comes to politics now, none of that matters anymore.
Well, Carlo, we showed a video of these two cops from the 2-5 precinct trying to arrest this guy who had a gun. I don't have it available right now, or I would show it again. Mm-hmm. And they were very aware of not putting their knee on the guy's back. And he had a gun, and he got up and ran away from them. Yeah. And he definitely had the advantage over them.
Sure.
And then at some point, the female officer, there was a male and a female, she felt the gun, and she was almost ready to shoot him, So this is the predicament that the city council, a bunch of boobs, just a bunch of boobs, have put the New York City Police Department in,
Well, remember, no matter where you go across the country, these new cops are told every day, multiple times a day, that they're going to be sued, indicted, they're going to lose their job, they're going to go to jail. And they take that shell shock syndrome into a real life situation where you've seen videos, guys going into car, he's reaching for a gun. He's reaching for a gun. The cop is screaming 100 times, let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. This guy is committed to not showing you his hands because he's watching the gun. And then the cop is dead. And that's a problem, I feel, that's created throughout the entire country. You know what I mean?
I feel like the government is willing to have a dead cop rather than a dead perp these days.
I agree with you, Bill. I was just going to say the same thing. I think that the idea is that the police officer knows what he's up against, and that's his job to lose his life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've heard jackasses say that cops know the risks. So if they get killed, it's their fault, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that, you know. But
it's like in the military too. If someone gets killed in the military, oh, he was a soldier, he knew the risks, you know.
I'm just curious, you know, because right now you got the prosecution who's doing they're opening the case up, but when the defense gets to talk and they get to show you that picture, that's the way he was trained. I'm interested in seeing what is going to be the argument to that. If that's the way you were trained and that's the move, and there's even one point in the video where they show you they're trained. If the person that you have your knee on their neck, if they move their head up, you got to pick your knee up, and you could actually watch the knee going up as when he's talking to him every time. Yeah. So he was actually doing what he was trained to do in the police academy, exactly the way they trained you to do it. So that's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see, you know, how the jury handles that little bit of information.
Well, he's already been tried in the press, you know. So
yeah, I know, but you know, in the trial right now, and the idea is, you know, the fear that comes along with I don't think you could satisfy. Other than hanging him in Times Square, I don't think you could satisfy anybody.
Yeah, and in this business today, like I said, you just, you know, when years ago, whenever somebody said, you know, when I first started, I hated when people said, "Kid, the job is dead." I hated that. I hated to hear that.
When I got on the job, they said that.
Yeah, they had no idea what they were talking about. You know what I mean? I would have did this job for free. That's a fact. You know,
and then you know, Carlo, they also said, "Hey, kid, take a pension loan every 6 months. It's your money."
Yes, you're right. You're right.
That was exactly the wrong advice to give, right?
Yeah, but it's funny, you know. I remember when I got on, and you know I get to the 102. It was my first command, and you know all the cops are looking at you like they've been there for a while, like 2 years. And they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you took the job, man. I can't believe you took this job. Like really."
You know what is fun, Mark?
Everybody says that though.
When you talk about pension loans, I remember 33 years ago today, I gave my wife an engagement ring, which cost me $2,400. And where do you think I got the money? A pension loan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She reminded me, oh, you know, 33 years ago today, we got engaged. I was like, wow.
I tell the new guys, if I was there, I would tell the new guys today, I don't care if you got a year on the job, go to every pension seminar. Go to every single pension seminar. Because guys say, what's the first thing guys say at these seminars? If I only knew this 20, 30 years ago.
Right. Well, the thing you have to know is not to take any financial advice from any cop, ever.
Good point.
Go to a financial advisor. You know, Carlo, you sent me a video, and I thought it was great. I'm going to show it to everyone right now, okay?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Detective Fargnoli. I've been with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department for 10 years. Prior to working with Fort Lauderdale, I was a New York City cop for 20 years. I retired in 2010. I had it with the snow. I wanted to go where the weather was warmer and ended up in Fort Lauderdale. I saw a lot of things over the course of 20 years. I wouldn't know where to start. I was a 9/11 first responder. I was down there when the Trade Center fell. This is the same light that I threw on top of my car on 9/11 to get down there as quick as I could. The loss of life, the families that lost their loved ones. I lost friends that day. I lost co-workers that day. But most of all, it was amazing how everybody came together. I love this job. You know, I'm surrounded by heroes all day long. How can I not want to give back? The 10 years that I have been here, I've enjoyed working here. I enjoyed working with the people. The department itself has been very supportive of me and my family. I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to come down. It's a great agency to work for. I'm lucky. I have no complaints in this business, none whatsoever. You're going to want this job, and to do it, and you know, like I said, the beauty of it is the people you work with. You know, you really are a team. To the cops watching this, keep your head up. Be proud.
That was great.
Let me tell you something about Fort Lauderdale. I wanted to say this. You know, I have a daughter with special needs, right? So as soon as I got hired by this police department, and they knew about that, I got a text message from the chief who said, "Listen, We understand you have a daughter with special needs. I want you to know that we're here for you. Fort Lauderdale family is here for you. Whatever you need, you let us know. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, these are the people you follow into burning buildings.
Right.
You know, like I never, ever forgot that. Like, this place has been great to me and my family, and I can't say that enough.
That's
Fort Lauderdale Police be very good to me.
They're good to me. Puppy. Hey, puppy, they're good. It's true.
That's great. That's great, man.
Good
I
stuff.
love that.
I wanted to ask you something, but I'm thinking that you said you missed the, you don't miss the snow.
No.
Not at all.
No, I hate the snow. I need to go to the refrigerator. I hate the snow. No.
And you don't come up here? When was the last time you came up here?
Well, you know what? Because of COVID and everything, it's been a real long time.
Yeah.
But I will. I listen. If I got to go up there in the winter, I go up there in the winter. But I don't like the cold. I don't. I try to say, hey, I'm a Floridian now. I don't go.
And do you have your own school over there that you do?
No.
You're in.
I train before work. I teach classes before work, and then if I'm done there, then I go.
Hey, tell us a good story about how you opened up somebody's head.
Well, I can't. Well, I'll tell you a funny story from New York.
I just like saying that line.
I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in street crime, my buddies, I think it was Richie Laura and Kevin Hoare. They had a car stop. I think it was on like by the McCombs Dam or something like that. They got a car stop. They walk up to the car, and the perp is sitting there with a gun right at their face.
Oh man!
Did you know Jimmy Gilday?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jimmy Gilday was. So when the guy did that, they jump back. The car takes off. We go. It's a hurricane. It literally, it's a hurricane. So Jimmy Gilday is driving. You know Jimmy's crazy. So he's driving. He's doing like 90 miles an hour in a hurricane. And you can't even see out the window. And I'm like this, looking at this side of your mirror. And I look and I go, Jimmy, the guy's right next to us. Jimmy's right next to us. Get behind him. Anyway, the guy ended up running off into the dirt. This is up in like Greenberg or something like that. So I jumped out of the car. Again, he's fighting us. And I catch his arm in what's called a Kimura. I'm telling him, stop resisting, bro. Stop resisting. And as you know, if you resist it, two forces meet. His arm breaks. You heard it so loud. The fight stopped. We handcuffed him, took him to the precinct, took him to the 4-8. When we take him to the 4-8, he looks at me and he goes, you with the glasses. He can't hold his arm up because it's broke. And he's like, you broke my arm. But he resisted. I didn't do it.
We're gonna get hate mail for laughing at.
I didn't do it on purpose.
You know why everyone hates cops? Because you
got kind of funny.
You know, when you said McCombs and Inwood, that was my first arrest in street crime.
Hey,
a guy shot 2 people, and he came running at us with a gun.
Hey, you know it's funny that you met.
Hey, Mark, you just gonna disregard that story and change the subject?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish it. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so that we chased the guy down. He tossed the gun, and then he goes to square off with us. And I remember I opened him up with my gun over the top of his head. That was the 4-inch chief. I just slapped him right on his head, opened him up, and the whole crowd, there was 3 of us, about 50 of his friends were trying to take him from us. We had to call a 13. Yeah. That was in the 4-4. That was my first street crime arrest. Welcome to street crime.
I love the 3-4, the 4. I wanted to go to the 3-4 in the worst way. When I got the academy, they sent me to the 2-0, and the 2-0 was a great command. Great people, great command. I'm not saying nothing bad. I loved it. It just a little too slow for me. I used to say I'm a Beethoven cop. I know I'm a rock and roll cop in a Beethoven precinct.
There's your 2-0 crew right there.
That's right. And so Richie Brees, he's listening right now. Richie Brees goes. He ended up.
I worked with him. I'm trying to think where.
There he is.
2-4.
He was in the 2-4 rip.
Oh, yeah, he was in the 2-4 squad. I was in the 2-4 squad.
Yeah.
I know him. Yeah, we were in the squad. I was only in there for 6 months, and they put me in the 2-6.
Okay. Louis Mineta signed my. Remember Louis Mineta?
Yep.
He signed my 57, and I wasn't going nowhere. So Richie Brees goes to task force. He's like, Carlo, we're running around at 3-4. We're chasing perps. We're picking up kilos. I said, yeah, I want to go. So I put in for task force, and I went up there. And so much
The
fun.
funny thing about task force is you could choose to do whatever you want. Like I went to the Queens task force, and there was actually a guy with us. I'm trying to think of his name right now, but he went to street crime, and he was like really, really active. And that was the thing with task force. You could be really, really active, or you can get 25 summonses a month. You knew what you weren't obligated to the radio.
Yeah.
And
we answered calls. The 3-4 guys all knew us. We answered jobs, helping them out all the time. But we were running around making collars, so it was good. I loved it up there.
You know, I didn't mean to cut Bill off, but when you were telling that story before about how crazy that he drove, I was thinking about when you were the passenger in an RMP when you were going to like an 85 or 13, and nobody knows what that feeling is like. It's one thing when you're driving, and you don't even know the rate of speed that a lot of these crazy freaking cops were driving at. Lights and sirens, taking lights, and you're sitting in the passenger seat of this thing. It's one thing if you're driving, but when you're sitting in the passenger seat, like, you just like, you get a heart attack just getting to the scene. And, depending on who, like some drivers you trust, it could just be that one moment during the tour. Like most of the time, I would drive. And they'd be like, hey, it's getting slow right now. You want to take over a little bit? You know what I'm saying? And that you let them drive for a little bit. And that's when something happens. And now you're with the worst driver in the whole command doing 90 miles an hour.
Well, how about when they made you start wearing seatbelts? I never could get comfortable with that.
You can't wear a seatbelt.
You're always jumping out of the car. I couldn't put on a seatbelt.
Yeah. How about doing 60, 70 miles an hour up a side street with double parked cars? And you're like this.
Yeah, that's what most people won't understand. You were basically on a roller coaster because you have no control. Everybody's been through the EVOC course. That's where we go to learn how to drive. And when you go there, the first thing that you see is this car that's been smashed, like it got hit by 3 other cars. Like, officers died in that car. Yeah, and that's the first thing you see when you're in EVOC. And now you're the passenger in a car that's going like taking lights in New York City, where cars come out of everywhere, doing 60 miles an hour down the side street, and you're the passenger.
At Fort Lauderdale, they first asked you. They said, "What car do you want?" So I didn't want a new car. I got a nice old Crown Vic. I love that car. You know what I mean?
Oh, me, you take the car home?
Yeah. You take home cars out here. Yeah.
What were the other options?
I'm sorry?
I mean, I know you took the Crown Vic. What was the other options?
No, they had now I got a Toyota, but they had a lot of other nice cars. But
Could you have gotten like a Corvette, like Miami Vice?
No, Corvette, no. The other, maybe there's some guys that might have that, but no, definitely not. But I'm like, I got the car because it's a buff car. I'm a buff, and I love that car, right? So one day, me and this girl I'm working with, my friend Leanne, we get where there's a car chase going up. I think it was coming up from Miami. They stole a white Mercedes. So I'm like, come on, let's go. So we get on 95, just wait for the chase to come past us. And this Mercedes is like, boom, boom, boom. And you got these cars, these RMPs that are like just as fast. So I tried so hard to get into the chase, and everybody's passing me like I'm a turtle. By the time I got there, it was just all wrapped up. I said, I got to get a new car.
You know what? Your car was immaculate.
I love the car.
It was immaculate. It was so clean in there.
It didn't have a milk crate behind the seat. I'll tell you.
Carlo, those Crown Vics or the Ford LTDs, they were the best for taking down perps with those cars.
I come up on a sidewalk. They took a sidewalk.
That's right. They could mount the sidewalk pretty easily too.
Listen, half of it is the bluff, right? You get out of the car with the police-looking car. You got the suit. You got the tie. People look at you because I will wear a suit and tie, and I get out of the car and they're like, okay. Some people think I'm the mayor. You know what I mean? Because they're like, "Oh, who's this guy?" So it's all part of the bluff. You know what I mean? The shtick.
Well, Carlo, you're doing violent crime then. So what are you mostly investigating? Robberies?
Okay, we have robberies, felony assaults, going batteries down here. People point the gun at you, or you call them aggravated assaults, pull a knife on you, some stuff like that. Yeah, we do. That's what
when you go around off duty, are you strapped?
Oh yeah, I never leave my
So you don't feel that safety of being in Fort Lauderdale, right?
No. Fort Lauderdale is a safe city. Don't get me wrong. Fort Lauderdale is a really safe city. It's a great city. I refuse to be a victim, period. If I was taking a train ride through heaven, I'd have a pistol in my pocket.
That's great. Mark, you want to do the commercial?
All right, yeah. Why not?
I'll put the banner up. There you go.
Listen up, guys and gals. We are sponsored by the best hot sauce in the world. Silk City Hot Sauce is made in small batches with pure ingredients using locally grown peppers, and that is the foundation of every bottle of Silk City Hot Sauce. There are several flavors from mild to wild. They got crazy labels, great artwork. And if you want to get some Silk City Hot Sauce, and I've been using it because I've been on this diet and I lost 12 pounds already. The only satisfaction or taste that I have in my food in these days is Silk City Hot Sauce. I use the Bobby Biggs Chipotle. That's the one I like the most. And also I use the Mango Madness. But there's many more flavors. Please visit silkcityhotsauce.com and you'll get a 15% discount if you put in the coupon code OTC. That is the coupon code OTC for off the cuff. Please visit silkcityhotsauce.com. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
What if you go down there? If we go down there from New York, how is it easy to transfer your gun permit, or just to get a gun permit down there?
No. Down here it's different. Down here, carrying a gun is easy. If you're not a convicted felon, you can go through the process of applying for a gun permit and eventually get that carry permit. So yeah.
You know what's funny that we forget this, but this is very, very, very important. Okay, you have a great governor there.
Yes,
you're going to be a police officer. You're in a state where you have a great governor that's going to back you.
Yeah,
it's not that many left in this country where we have these really good governors that back the police. Over here in New York, this guy's in a world of shit right now.
Yes.
So they're legalizing marijuana, whatever they can do to change public sentiment. They just legalized it the other day, which is, I don't disagree with. I think, listen, it's going on. Why be the last guy in the boat? But we don't have a good governor here. It's not about he's the one responsible for signing that bill, into law about the diaphragm law and all these things. Also the bail reform. Sure. Who signed off on all of this, and that is why. You see, listen, every single one of these Asian attacks that I see in New York City have one thing in common. They're all being done by these people that are homeless. They're mentally insane, and they're out in the street. And listen, the last guy that just got locked up, and great work by the detectives that locked up this guy. I don't know, you're in Florida if you see the video. It's this lady's walking down the street. She's going to church, an Asian lady, and this guy's walking the other way. He just kicks her. Now you're a martial artist. He did a front kick, and it was beautiful. And he sent her flying, an old lady. And then he started stomping on her. Okay, and we're in this situation right now here where they're trying to change your mind by saying, "Oh, you should be involved." Because the video that I saw and that was critiqued highly was because there was somebody delivering packages, and they call it security. I think it was a residential building though, because it was 32B, 32J. That's the union. So that's like a doorman there. And he goes and he closes the door. Now, first of all, in all fairness to those people, they're on the west side of 43rd Street. And for those people that aren't from New York and that have seen this story, there are homeless people stopping each other every single day on 43rd Street on the west side. Yeah. Even pre-COVID, that's where it happens. That's the guy, he got collared. It was great police work. They got him in a shelter.
Been living in a hotel that serves as a homeless shelter near the scene of the attack. Police charged him with 5 counts, including felony assault and as a hate crime. He was seen on surveillance camera on Monday, kicking and stomping the 65-year-old woman very near Times Square. Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching.
Well, my point was this: is just that they were really going after the 2 guys there that were watching. And listen, we're only as good as how we're going to react in a moment of crisis. Sure. But in all fairness, they're working on 43rd Street on the west side, 360 West 43rd Street over there. We all know that there are homeless people stomping each other in front of that building on a daily basis. It could happen twice a day where you see 2 drug addicts fighting outside your building. It just happens. It's just another one of those things where you go close the door. In this situation, it happened to be an Asian woman, and right now the Asian people are under attack. Yeah. And most of them, it's by these homeless people. They're mentally, they would normally be somewhere else, detained. Either they're caught up in the system or somewhere, but now they're out in the street because there's no place for them to go.
Aaron Rodriguez, thank you so much for the $24.99 super chat. You're the man. Thank you. Hello, Cheated No More, Stephen Revo Gates, Ray Ferrari. How you doing, buddy? Cat in the Hat, Janine Goodwin, I'm sorry. Cheated No More, Soldier Girl, Richella Pranzo, and Pete Pranzo. You know the Pranzo, Lieutenant Pranzo from Street Crime, right? Or was that before your time?
That's before my time.
MC's Audio, Lieutenant Pete was a 3-2 lieutenant, and he's got a book out called Harlem Raiders. Jay Hoops, David Herbsman, Frank Burns, of course, Cat in the Hat, Eric Landau.
Eric.
You know Eric, Sandra H.
Yeah. Eric is one of the guys that I've been – see, one thing about Fort Lauderdale, the only thing I can say negative about Fort Lauderdale is this incessant calling of the shield a badge. I try so hard to correct these people, and it's a fight to the death. They're coming along, but Eric is one of my biggest offenders. He's a great guy. I love Eric, but he's one of my biggest offenders with that.
Yeah, you just have to tell them it's a square badge. That's a security guard.
Yeah, but what do they say? They say it's a Girl Scouts get badges.
They don't listen.
Cub Scouts get badges. We have a shield.
I tell them that it's like pulling teeth with these people. It's you know what? The last chief, she came around. She sees me. She goes, "No, it's a shield." I'm like, "Thank you, boss." Now they're coming along, but if I can get it done by the time I leave this job in 2090, I'll be freaking good.
And let me ask you a question. You were when you got on the job there, you had to go to patrol first?
Yeah.
How was that like? Because, you were running around here in New York City, you're moving up, you're getting a little bit away from patrol, and now you're back answering.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story. I was in training, and, first of all, they again.
Were you the only one?
So I'm the only, there are a lot of New York City cops there. I'm the only retiree, but there's a lot of New York City cops there. And again, they treat me good, and so one of the guys I work with, he's in my office, and he was my FTO, they call it. So he's like, I'll tell you a funny story. He's like, Carlo, come on, let's go watch the dogs. We'll go watch some training with the dogs. I'm like, yeah, okay. So we go out to where the dogs are training, and it's the apprehension dogs. You know what they do. So they're it's amazing. It's amazing. So
those are my favorite dogs, by the way.
Amazing. It's an art. It's an art like you wouldn't believe. So one of the guys like, hey, Carlo, want to take a hit? And put the sleeve on my arm. And inside I'm screaming, no, I don't want to take a hit. But I just got there. So I can't look like a loser. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a hit. And they stick the dog on my arm with the plastic. And I'll tell you what, man, I couldn't believe the strength of this dog. How many times you see a dog, medium-sized dog, you're like, I'll throw that dog through the window. You're not throwing nothing through the window. You're not throwing nobody through the window. Then the guy says to me, oh, you want to try the thin sleeve? I'm like, no. No, I don't. But I just got there. I don't want to think these guys think, I said, yeah, I'll take the sleeve. Dude, this dog bit my arm, and I was like so impressed with its strength. But it's like an art with these dudes. They're like it's an art. They're really good at what they do. But yeah. So it took a lot of getting used to. Don't forget, I kind of went with an older mentality. And, you know, the guys are like, listen, this is how we do it here, and this is how we do it. Okay, you got it. No problem. You know what I mean? So it was good.
Because sometimes New York City cops, we have that swagger and like we think we're the best in the world, and you got to sort of adjust to a new police department, right?
Yeah, we have a way of dealing with. We had a way of dealing with certain problems. Like one thing with being New York City cops, I think you'll agree. You know, we're a lot more in touch with the street than a lot of people. We may not be the most professional people. You know what I mean? But when we deal with somebody on the street, it was like almost to a certain extent, two street people saying, "What are you doing?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got along with people much better. But today they've made us robots. So it was good. It was good. I had a good time. But still, jumping over fences. That's where they started rumors that one girl started. My friend Noah started a rumor. I chased up her over a fence. She says, "Oh, everybody heard you say Central. I'm in the Empire State Building on the fourth floor." But that's a lie. That's a lie. I never said that.
You know, it was funny, Carlo. My last week on the job, and I was in the squad. I was in Manhattan North Homicide Squad. I went back to the 2-3 where I had worked for years.
Yeah.
And I got two detectives that had previously done time in anti-crime, Charlie Freitag and Patty Porteous.
Superstar.
Yeah, and I said, let's take a ride out just for old time's sake. Because I had like a week left, you know?
Yeah.
So we're just driving around, not expecting anything to happen. And we hear a blood-curdling scream. This woman's screaming. So we go the wrong way on the street, and we see this guy beating the shit out of this Mexican guy. He's robbing him, right? So Freitag gets out of the car, and Porteous and I stay in the car because the perp goes flying running into the block. And both of us knew, don't get out of the car. That's the stupidest thing you could do. We raced 100 yards past the perp. Then we get out of the car. And the perp runs right to us. And he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's an old anti-crime street crime trick, right?
I work with Patty in Tesla. What a great – both of those guys, superstars, legends, Patty and Charlie. Great dudes.
But Patty can't get away from the job. I'll be on the phone with him. He says, I got to go. I'm going 63.
You know what it is?
Like, are you still talking in codes?
You can't help it. Listen, there's the police and there's the police. You know what I mean? We can't help it. That's why guys do this job.
My wife and I just had a 1052.
No, there's no changing us. I'm
going to go 98 if you guys don't mind.
Yeah. Got to sit in the corner. Yeah.
So you guys got different codes down there, though, right? What do you say for a meal down there? What is the code?
Oh my God, people are laughing at me right now.
Is meal a privilege over there?
40 is a meal. 40. You're gonna go 40.
40 is a meal. 40 in New York is a beer. Is a 40. That's it. You go to the bodega and grab a 40 in a bag.
Is meal considered a privilege over there?
No, they're pretty good with it.
Remember when they used to tell you that meal is
a privilege?
Yeah.
You know, when I was in precinct crime, I used to tell my guys, do not go in the station house. You want to take a meal? You could have 2 hours, but take it out in the field. Don't go into the station house.
That's Richie. I tortured him. I never let him go to the station. It's a precinct and eat.
Because once you go to the station house, they use you like a little bitch, right?
No, I was afraid I was going to miss something.
Yeah.
I had Richie Bree standing out there on 151 and Broadway on Christmas Eve. He's like, Carlo, stay in a van. We're not doing nothing. I said, dude, bro, you see those guys dealing drugs on the corner? You think I'm going to sit here in this car? Are you crazy? And poor Richie, he'll tell you, I tortured that poor kid.
You know, the more you talk, the more you bring up his name, and the more I see his picture, and I'm remembering right now. It's coming back to me. You know, because that was a really horrible time. I was working in warrants, and I loved warrants, man. It was everything that I wanted in the job. And then they, what's his name? Carrick left.
Yeah.
And they started breaking down warrants because Carrick built up warrants. And they send us all to squads. And there was 3 waves. I made the first wave. And then, you know, it just became about hooks. Yeah. Like who had the strongest hook to stay.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like it really is like a wave or like a big tsunami wind coming. And the people that got like a really good hook, they're going to hold on to where they are. And everybody else is going to get blown away. And I got blown. I got blown into the 2-4 squad. You know, you got to buy suits now.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got to like, it was just, I was in shock. I was, because, you know, the lifestyle in warrants, it was completely different than the squad.
Jeans and sneakers.
We did our work early in the morning. Then we had what we wanted to eat. You take a nap, you go to the gym. It was a schedule.
Yeah.
And then once you get to the squad, it's not like that at all.
You worked at Jimmy Zakari in warrants, right?
I worked in Manhattan warrants.
With Jimmy Zakari?
Yeah. Is he still on?
Yeah, he drives.
He's a delegate, a big shot. And
he's not a big shot in the union. He's a delegate, but he drives vans.
Oh yeah. He had. I'm talking. If you ever wanted to see a politician move around, that guy is beautiful. Woo!
Stories about him. Yeah.
If you think I can work a room, you got to see him.
Oh no, he's here.
Cigar in his hand.
He's gifted.
Yeah,
let me tell you, go. You know, when I left street crime, I went to Bronx Narcotics, and you know, I had an awesome time in street crime. I worked. Now, before I go any further, let me tell you something. Danny Nicholson threatened me about using his name, and I'm telling him using his name. Danny Nicholson. Danny Nicholson. Danny Nicholson. Danny Nicholson. You know, if you're familiar with the Nicholson family, his father was one of the highest, probably the most decorated boss in transit. He went to Medal Day 8 years. So impressive. Yeah, the lineage is amazing. Anyway, so I had to get that out of the way. But I went to Bronx Narcotics, and I was there for about 4 years. And remember that booklet they made you fill out? You familiar with that? They made you fill out a booklet before you went there. So you had to write all your debts down, right? Oh yeah, 10,000.
I work in narcotics, but yeah, I know they know if you owed money, how much money you owed out, just if you would steal the drugs to catch up on your debt.
Yeah. So 4 years into it, I got to do it again. And I said, I'm not doing it again. Like, what do you mean? I'm not doing it. You want to know where I got the money for my Hyundai? But you're not going to the money for
my Toyota to sell the $6,000 it cost.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. No. Oh, then just write refused. Well, you know somebody downtown. Look, you wrote refused, chief. You wrote refused. Next thing I know, they put me and this guy named Milton Lopez on the FOD. No overtime, no nothing. Then they're calling us downtown. Yeah. They want to know why we didn't sign it. Remember Jack Curran? You know Jack? Yeah. Good guy. He was down there at the time. So I get down there. He looks at me. He recognizes from the 2-0. He's like, what are you doing here? I said, I'm not signing that booklet. He goes, what do you mean you're not? Sign up the effing booklet and get the hell out of here. I'm like, okay, Lou. He goes, make something up. Okay, Lou. And
you know what? A lot of it really doesn't make a fucking heap of a difference, does it? Really? You know what I'm saying? Like with the police, I remember they'd come into the squad, and every once in a while there'd be a word that we couldn't use on a 5, and everybody would lose their freaking mind. What do you mean we can't use? We can't start with TPO anymore.
Yo,
and I'm like, dude, just adjust. Just use another word. Who gives a shit?
Imagine they took the word behoove away. That was such a police word. It would behoove you.
In lieu of you. Take my props for using the word aforementioned.
Right, aforementioned. That's right.
Go, oh, yeah.
And then, how about if they took away the undersigned? Oh no, you can't do that.
Well, you know what's funny too is that, like, because now you had all those books. You had a book on the side, and it had all the what do they call 57s or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know you had to write one up for your particular case if it fell into a certain bracket, but you didn't know how to write this thing up, so you would just go to another one. An old one, and they had that book there of all the old ones, and he would just follow that thing, and he would just fill out the blank with the name.
I loved some of Transit. Transit would write in their reports, the perp fled to parts unknown. I was like,
I love that. I love parts unknown.
Parts unknown.
I used to put that in mine.
Well, that was a Transit thing, though.
I love that. It reminds me.
I'll ask one of the girls, our secretary, who's a sweetheart. I'll say, hey, Lori, can you print raps for me? And they're like, what? Print raps for me? What do you mean, criminal history? Yes. history, and it's just hilarious. You know what I mean? They're just.
Well, it's funny when you talk in cop language around people that aren't cops, and they're like, "What did you just say?" You know, it's like a secret language. It is, you know.
It's different down here, the terminology.
So we threw the perp on the bus and took him to the hospital. You know,
but that kind of goes both. Sometimes they use the bus, sometimes they don't. But yeah, that's another one. The bus. Yeah. Forthwith. Who we forthwith? All right.
Forthwith. Right away.
No, but they're great bunch of people down here.
So how is the culture down there as far as the job, and you guys hang out with each other off duty or no?
You know what? You know, I'm sure a lot of guys do hang out. You know, with the take-home cars versus your own personal car years ago, or the bar was always in stumbling distance from the precinct. But these days, like, you know, I don't really. I'm kind of past that, and I'm happy.
There's no herpes triangles over there.
Nope. No, if there is, I don't know about it, and I'm happy I don't know about it.
There's
What's right?
Those for our audience doesn't know what herpes triangle is. That was an area in the Bronx there where they were on four corners met, and there was 3 bars.
The Riddlers, right? Was one of them, I think.
Yeah, and if you wanted to get married, if you wanted to meet your future wife, you went there.
No,
herpes triangle.
I tell you what. Thankfully, I'm really kind of past that, so I'm lucky for that. The days.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, of course. You passed it. What did I want to ask you? Fuck, man. What is your shift like over there?
I do. I do 11 to 7s. I do 11 to 7s. And I go in, do my stuff, whatever. I do my squad work, and I go home.
What time do you make the collar?
It depends. These days,
6:45. I do 11 to 7s. Usually the guys he's under at 6:45.
I used to laugh.
So no.
In the squad, Porteous would be on the phone. Come in at 3:45 on the day tour. You know,
I'm not going to tell you. You know, the old days in narcotics when somebody might tell the one of the collars, "Hey, tell him you got chest pains up by your sandwich." I heard the legend. I don't know if anybody did that, but I think they got a bunch of overtime in the hospital.
Oh God!
Out of last, man. Out of last. I tell you a funny story. You know, one thing my whole career, I've always been a huge advocate for the working man, and I tell all the new guys all the time: take care of the working people. Take care of them. The jerks will line up. They will line up to get ticketed. They'll line up. Take care of the working person. But, you know, if I ever pulled over anybody other who was a veteran, if they weren't a Marine, I would never hurt them. But, you know, I had to give them a hard time. So behind me.
No, if I tell you how many, listen, back in the day, you know, you got a nurse or you got a teacher. Yeah, I remember one time I got a guy, he sold cars. He worked at one of these dealerships on Queens Boulevard. Boxed.
Yeah.
Fucking box. I parked the car in front of his house. I put him to bed. I hid his keys for him.
Yeah.
The next day, you know, he called me up. He thanked me.
Yeah.
And like a month later, I was in a brand new Nissan Maxima.
Is that one of the jokes you tell? Is that one of your new jokes?
I'm kidding. It was an Ultima, but I really should have been in the Sentra. What my credit score was, I should have been in the Sentra. He got me up to the Ultima.
Carlo, how is the community down there? They pro police?
Yeah, no, they're good. Yeah,
the whole national wave hasn't moved down there too, right?
No, they're like down here. You got your city, your city commissioners. It's a little different down here the way they do things up
I love that freaking guy DeSantis, man.
I like him a lot.
I mean, the guy just already said no to those. What is it? The vaccine passport. He was like, "Nah, that's not going to happen over here."
Yeah, no, he's going to end up running for president.
Yeah. I have a feeling if I had to do a prediction, because I know the Trump is they're creating their own social media platform.
Yeah.
They're going to come out with that. They're going to steal. Twitter is nobody. He's going to be non-existent. Idiots that are exchanging information, but nobody else. That's it. They're going to be fighting amongst themselves, the 5 of them.
You know what's funny? I have people that I know because I supported Trump. People I know for 30 years calling me a white supremacist, a Proud Boy, and a neo-Nazi. And I said, you know what? Some of the best white supremacists I know are Black and Hispanic that I work with who support Trump. You know what I mean?
It's just an easy way to say their point of the argument. It's dismissive. It's not giving it much thought. It's not, there's no conversation anymore. But my point was that, the smart move would be to, prep him up. I don't even know. Trump running again, he'd be better off just running the RNC, and that would be his dude. Now we build him up on my platform, and that's what I think is going to happen. Remember that you heard it here, folks.
I think he'd be the president of Texas. I would support him.
Yeah. Oh, listen, all the moves right now, and he's blessed in a way because unfortunately, Texas and on the border there, if they get a spike because of the corona, that spike could very easily be because these people that are they're letting into the country right now, they're not even being tested.
Yeah.
Now, if you get a spike in Texas where you just opened it up wide open, those numbers, for some reason, you're going to be responsible if they start filling up the hospitals. It's going to fall on you.
Yeah.
So he's another a great governor over there too.
Yeah.
But they're trying to fix him too by because those people, they come in and now the bordering towns, what are they going to do with them?
But Mark, they can do the same thing that the Democrats did. They in reverse. The Democrats didn't want to follow a law. They made sanctuary cities.
Yeah, well, there was another town today, another state today. I'm trying to think of it. Just banned sanctuary cities.
Good. But also the Republicans can refuse to follow certain federal laws that they're trying to mandate now, just the way the Democrats did. But you'll hear the Democrats crying. You know?
Funny thing with that agency that what is that? Well, I don't even know who gets. Is it DHS or who's Homeland Security? Whoever goes after the illegal aliens. Now it's going to be like basically state by state, because if you have one state that says we do not have any sanctuary cities in this state. Now you're going to use that federal agency to get rid of or prosecute or whatever it is that they do with the illegal aliens. And then you're going to have states that they're sanctuary states. And that's where they're going to live. So it's this, we're living in two different countries, basically.
It's really scary. It's really scary when you think about what's going on and what's coming. It really, I don't think enough people take it seriously. I really, really don't. You know what I mean? Because as long as it doesn't bother, as long as it doesn't affect you personally, you keep your head buried in the sand. It doesn't bother me. I have nothing to do with it. Then it's okay. But once it knocks on your door and involves you personally, now all of a sudden people are like, well, what happened?
It's going to affect everyone personally, especially taxes, because you notice all of a sudden you're rich now if you make over 200,000. At first they said over 400 individual. Now it's 200,000. So they're going to. I always said when they say they're going to tax the rich, they really mean the middle class. That's what they really mean.
Is. That's the way it always is anyway. Though it's just unbelievable. I mean, it's a fun take down. 21-2000 just did another $24.99 super chat. Thank you so much.
Wow.
That's one of the guys I work with. That's Eric Perez, and he does the recruiting here at Fort Lauderdale. He's awesome. And if anybody's listening in New York City cop, come down here.
What's the oldest recruit you ever got? Because I'm 53.
I think Peter Pranzo wants to come on the job. He's 75.
We had a guy here. Well, he's my age, I should say. But you can come down here and get hired, bro. I'm telling you, you would love it down here.
Hey, is that James Cohn that was the CEO of aviation? He was
Jimmy Cohn. Oh, you want to talk
James
about
Cohn? I want to invite you on the show. Let me know. Just text right now if you want to come on the show. I'll give you whatever date you want.
Yeah, that'd be a great show. You want to know about aviation?
A shout out to Jimmy. Jimmy Cohn was in the Army, right? He's a major in the Army. Legit superstar cop on street crime. Legit. Everybody was great there. But I'll tell you a funny story real quick. With the helmet I said to stay before, just so the Navy guys listening, I had that helmet in the back of the RMP, and I pulled over a car. A guy ran through the red light. And I said, hey, let me see your license. And he shows me his wallet. I go, whoa. I saw the green ID card. No, what's that? It's Navy. I said, right back. I run back to the RMP, take my hat off, put my helmet on. I walk over to the front window. I go, let me tell you something, you fucking squid. You tell me that Navy sucks and the Marine Corps is the best, or I'll give you a ticket for going through that red light. He goes, Navy sucks, Marine Corps is the best. But to Jimmy's credit, I tried it on an Army guy, and the Army guy wouldn't do it. So there you go.
You know, I used to work with this guy in Manhattan North Homicide, Tommy Clark, and he was a Marine.
I know Tommy Clark.
Whenever he saw another Marine on the street, there would be like 4 lanes of traffic. He'd go, you know, the guy would look. It was almost like the Little Rascals giving, you know.
The Marine Corps him on the RMP horn, you know, on the thing. Yeah, we're still obnoxious, but we deserve to be.
Hey, funny. It was great, man. We had Joe Lisi, the captain on our job, who was a Marine. He's the most successful actor in NYPD history. The guy's probably done 100 TV shows and films, and we had him on the show, and he's a Marine too. Very proud Marine.
Oh no, we all
Marine. We have to do. He thought I was a Marine. I said, no, I just learned how to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of entertainment, I'm up for 2 films right now. I'm working on 2 parts in different films, but I'm also I'm recording my album, my comedy album. Bill, do you have?
I don't. You know, I didn't put it on.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
I don't have it, Mark. Sorry.
Oh,
I should have had it loaded.
Well, anyway, I've been posting it up on social media. I'm recording an album on April 25th. It's a Sunday. We're doing 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. at the New York Comedy Club on 4th Street. The album that I'm recording is for 800 Pound Gorilla. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to take my jokes and you're going to be able to buy the album anywhere on Apple iTunes, Spotify, but also they break up your jokes and they put it on Sirius. So if you have Sirius in your car, you'll be able to hear a lot of the album's called The Bangers. All these great jokes that I've been doing through the years. We're going to put them on one album, and that's a recording. And I'm hoping that if you go on to NewYorkComedyClub.com, you'll get tickets for $10. It's $25 at the door, but get a couple of tickets. Come down, 7 p.m., 9:30, New York Comedy Club on 4th Street, NewYorkComedyClub.com, April 25th, Sunday, and it's going to be a great time.
Matthew Kassler, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Lieutenant Peter Pranzo, 75 years old. He wants to come down to Fort Lauderdale and start a street crime unit down there.
Come down. Let's do it. Come on down. I tell you, the more people that call it a shield, the better that place will be. Come on down.
He could get some of his old Harlem Raider cops, too, to come down there.
Yeah. No, tell him, leave the slapper up in New York right now.
Ryan Investigative Group, the Crisis at the Border, a real super spreader event. He gave a $5 super chat. Thank you, Bill Ryan.
Ryan. Tim Acosta, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You guys are spoiling us here, but thank you so much.
And Tim Acosta says, can't wait the album, Mark. Yeah, it's I'm very, very excited. It's going to be we're going to do half and half. We're doing 50 minutes, so we're going to do some for you and some for me. And for me, it's going to be the cop jokes, the classics. It's going to be an opportunity for me to put all the jokes that I've been doing all this time in one album, and then we'll do another one 8 months after that, and we'll catch up.
Awesome. I'll be sure to get it for sure.
Yeah, no, it's listen, you know, it's fun. I've been working on it. It's all the bangers.
I'll tell you what. Can I tell you something? It takes big balls to get up in front of a room full of people and do a comedy act.
You got to be insane. You really have to be insane. No, you have. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm doing cold showers, right? Today is day 28. I did a 30-month challenge. I'm never quitting. I'm doing this Wim Hof method. I started getting into yoga now. I dropped 12 pounds. But the thing is like to walk into a freezing cold shower. There's nothing like it. Like I just put it as cold as it can go. And then I do my breathing techniques. I did 8 minutes today. I want to get up to 10. But that's what stand-up is like. It's for some reason my brain is triggered like that. Bill is the same way. Oh. Bill is also a stand-up comedian. And let me tell you something about Bill. Bill is, there's a reason why he was a homicide Manhattan North homicide sergeant because he's got that. Like I can't even. Like I'm crazy. Like I love stand up and I love the cold showers, but Bill gets these phenomenal guests. He also has his own show that he does, and he's doing really great things. He's got a thing coming up with Tommy Dades and Mazza, and I can't even imagine. I got to listen to that show myself.
Yeah.
But he's doing phenomenal things on the Patreon. For those of you who are out there, we just had a new Patreon subscriber tonight, Bill. He signed on for $9. He went for the that one is the bucket. If I recall.
Yeah. No, that's the polish my rack.
Oh,
we have 3 tiers on our Patreon. We actually have like 55 people pay a monthly fee to watch our material.
Yeah, his name is Jim Cohen.
Awesome.
Jim
he's the aviation inspector.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, on the screen is if you want to sign up for our Patreon, there's the link. $7 a month, you're the bucket. $9 a month, you get to polish my rack, and I actually have a picture of my rack up there. And for $11 a month, you get to dip them in butter. Whatever you want to dip in butter, you get to do that.
Nice.
We're having so much fun doing this show, and I know I say this ad nauseum, but one of the greatest things about doing this show is the amazing people we get to meet and talk to. You know, and Mark agrees with it. To say it's unbelievable. You know,
it's in you know, I tell you, man, so many people I've met doing this. The other day, I was getting my first COVID shot, my vaccine, and I was looking for parking, and I used because I have some 9/11 things, right? But they're nothing like serious. You know, I got GERD and sleep apnea. You know, and I took my man, shut the fuck up. Just give me the money. You know what I'm saying? But I asked the 2 cops there, where could I park? And they looked in the car and they go, oh, police off the cuff, right? Look. And then he tells the sergeant, look, that's police off the cuff. And I'm like, yeah,
okay, so what they tell you? Did you park there? No problem?
Yeah, no problem. I walked in. Right. You get there's a lot of people that, you know, everybody's watching the show. Everybody's tuning in. It's an amazing feeling to, you know, to be recognized, you know what I'm saying, by your peers like that. It's good.
Yeah. Well, Carlo, he's right, and it's amazing. Like even like on LinkedIn, chiefs on this job contact me and say, "I just want you to know I love your show." And like they may not want to be outed, you know, publicly saying it, but there's a lot of people listening in one PP, you know.
Well, listen, if there's any chiefs out there, anybody who's running for mayor in New York City, or anybody who's running for anything, whatever. Listen, you know we handle you with kid gloves. We're not investigative reporters here, for crying out loud. We're here to have a good time. We have a long format interview style show here. You get to say your piece, and it's nothing but love. So come join us.
I saw when you guys interviewed Anamone. Let me tell you something. Now that guy,
he's the best.
Deal.
You know, there's a guy on here now. His name is MC's Audio, and he's like 21 years old. He's a great little broadcaster. He's interviewing Anamone this week.
I wish Anamone became the mayor of New York.
He's great, Anamone. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I love that guy. I had the honor of meeting him a couple of times, and that guy was the real deal. And I wish he would become the mayor. You watch out.
Were you in the task force when he was in charge of the task force? I was. I was in the Queens task force when he took over special.
When he was chief of patrol, you mean?
Well, yeah, but he was responsible for the task force and our responses, and we were doing lines and wedges.
Yeah.
And listen, it seemed stupid at the time, and we used to goof around in it. But you show up at a situation where there's a bunch of freaking hundreds of people, and all of a sudden you're in formation. You're not a big freaking mess out there, and you start moving around, like a unit. They get freaking scared. They say, "Oh shit, these guys in business."
Water thrown over his head. The first thing I thought of was Anamone.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
You'd be dead.
You know, we had him on the show, and Bill asked him that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know something. I know you were in Street Crime when Kevin Gillespie was killed.
I was there. Oh, yeah. You want to laugh?
And he said the most touching thing about that night. We were almost in tears on the show.
I'll tell you, I was hanging out with Kevin 2 hours before he was killed. We were sitting every time he was told me he was in a Marine Corps too. So whenever he saw me, he go, "Carlo!" Like that's what we go. Yeah. So we're sitting out there bullshitting outside the base, and we both had court the next morning. I said, "Okay, when I get in, I'll wake you up. We'll go to court, we'll have breakfast, and we'll go to court in the Bronx." So that night he gets killed. And when I found out he got killed, I called Danny Nicholson, Tommy Fitz, Danny Alvarado. We went flying in. What was done, we'll talk about it off the air sometime, what, with the steps that were taken to find the killers. Or one guy got away, Itchy, but I'll tell you about that another time. But yeah, and I remember, talk about sad, I remember sometime after that when we were all in the base and we're all sitting there, Kevin's hat is on a table with some flowers. It was almost staged, but it wasn't. The wife and the two little kids, they're grown now, come into the base. The little guy walks over to the hat and he says, "Is that my daddy's hat?" And he put it on his head down to here. And if that didn't make everyone cry, nothing ever would. It was the saddest thing you ever saw. We did right by Kevin that night. I will tell you that right now. Yeah. We did right by Kevin that night, looking for his killers. We really did.
Hey, Richard Bryce says, Bill asked Carlo
here we go
about the time he was stepping out of the police van in uniform in the snow and he fell and people started laughing and he jumped back up in the van and we had to race away. That's why he hates the snow and moved to Florida.
Well, we were in the 3-4 and I did the slipper road, landed on my back. And I heard somebody down the block, ha, ha, ha. Listen, that was a discount collar, but we didn't know where it came from. So he's right. No, Richie was a ball break. Yeah, Rich, you got me.
That's great, man. That's great. It's funny when you're on the police department or police service and the years go by. In essence, you've been on 30 years, 20 with the NYPD. You have stories and you have memories that go back 30 years, 35 years. Yeah. I just called up one of my anti-crime cops from the 2-4 today, Joey Cintron, who was also on the PBA boxing team. Yeah. What a great guy, And I said, Joey, remember when certain female anti-crime cop in our unit would say, "Joey, don't let them see you, Joey. Joey, don't let them." Right away. He said, yes, that was great.
I've got a story for everything. And I tell the guys, I don't want to live like a bullshit artist, so I don't have it. But I tell
you have such memories and such laughs,
Yeah, I tell you what, one time we were sitting there, we were in Warrants. We were on 98th Street and 3rd Avenue, Manhattan Warrants. And we had a PAA there. And something happened when she lost her tooth. A front tooth. Nobody said nothing for like the first week, 2 weeks. Now we're going on a month. We're all sitting there, and I just said, the way you sit around your desk, and she's there, and we're all laughing. I said, Letty, what's up with your tooth, man? Everybody, I'm like, no, seriously. I'm like, you ever gonna get it back? Are you gonna try and get a new? Like the whole place, we were crying, laughing, and then all she kept saying was, "No, you didn't. Oh my God, no, you didn't. Oh my God, no, you didn't." I'm like, "No, I'm just listen. No, are you gonna do?" She goes, because they had a different plan. She couldn't get her tooth back on the plan. The PAAs have a different plan, but oh man, we were crying for everybody, even her. She was dying.
But those are the days, those are the days when nobody was offended. You had race jokes going from all sides. You had nothing was taboo. Nothing, male, female, white, but we're such a family. Nobody took anything personal.
You know what destroyed the police department, Carlo? When they took away the 9 squad chart.
I heard that.
Steady tours destroyed the police department.
Everybody says that.
It really did. Because it was 3 different police departments. Where
they knew what they were doing now.
Yeah. We used to all work together. Everyone knew each other. With the 3 tours, no one knew each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Anyway, we're at 8:13, man. We got to wrap it up. What do we got to close out with, Bill?
We got some amazing shows coming up. Dave Siev, a retired lieutenant from Brooklyn.
I'm excited. He's very involved with the boxing, isn't he?
Yeah, New York City cops and boxing. He's big. He used to when cops had a beef, he would schedule the smokers.
Yeah, I know.
He used to have cops fight in the ring.
He's all over YouTube. He's all over the NYPD's. I know that I don't know if I met him in person, but I know his face because I always see him with the smokers.
He's a great guy. You know, people kept telling me like even a year ago, "Oh, you should get Dave Siev," you know, and I didn't really know him. You know,
I saw him
like
on
a boxing
YouTube.
announcer.
I saw him on YouTube. He's an Asian dude, I think. I saw him hit a focus pad, and I wouldn't want to get caught by him. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah.
You know what?
You don't want to get hit by Joe Murray either. He broke it.
Yeah. You know, I try. You know, the funny thing is, I tried boxing too. Like, you know, and I did that for like 6 months. And you mentioned the focus pad, and you're supposed to hit the focus pad, but in turn, the trainer would always hit me in the head. He would go, "You got to focus."
One of my buddies was a New Mexico State champion, so I had a couple fights. We did it every day. I loved it. Good times. Good times.
That's great.
Yeah.
I just want to plug one thing. This Tuesday, I have two amazing guests. Tommy Dades, who was a retired first-grade detective. He is credited with one of the persons that put away the mafia cops, Louis Ippolito and Stephen Caracappa. He had that major case, and he's also an expert on the mafia. With him on the show is Larry Mazza, who's actually was a hit guy for the Colombo crime family. But they grew up together in the same neighborhood, and it's sort of a comparison. They grew up in the same neighborhood. One became a cop, one became a wise guy, you know. So it's going to be a hell of an interesting show. Tuesday night, for April 6th at 8 p.m. on YouTube Live. Any last words, Mark?
No, thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody who got involved with the super chat, we really, really, really appreciate it. And to our guest, this was phenomenal, Carlo. We wish you all to be careful out there.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, listen, that thong task force must be dangerous.
No. No, my Fort Lauderdale Speedo's coming. I know. I'm just waiting. I know it's coming. They're gonna do that.
I'm gonna forward my I'll give my mom your information. I'm gonna reach out to you, and it's this way if they have a problem, and she can call you every day.
Anytime she wants. She needs me. I promise you.
She's 73 years old. The people litter. I'm gonna have her call you instead of calling me.
Well, take care. She cooks. Good? Yeah. I'll eat that. You got it.
Sandra H. just posted, we lost DPS trooper Chad Walker, and our governor asked all law enforcement and squads to pull over and turn on red and blue lights for 1 minute, 1 p.m. today. Well, we hope he rests in peace.
Sad.
With that said, thank you, everyone, for listening. Mark DeMayo, Bill Cannon, Police Off the Cuff After Hours. And this is Carlo Fargnoli from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department by way of the NYPD and the Marine Corps.
Be safe, fellas. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.